Hi guys, I've got the light on my camera, so I'm absolutely blinded at the moment because it's a bit dark, and I completely forgot to do this last week because it's been very busy for me. But Tony asked us about paperwork. Now, there is no fixed paperwork that drivers get issued with, you know, across all companies. Each company has its own version. I can't really show you the paperwork that I'm issued with because it's this company's version. It's specific to this company, and I'm guessing this company doesn't want it being shared about. But basically, in this get my words out in a minute. In this segment of the industry, that's retail, kind of chilled goods and all that kind of stuff. You know, just the stuff that's sold in stores and stuff. It's universal what they want. They'll want the start mileage and the finish mileage of the vehicle somewhere on the paperwork. They'll want your name if you're agency, sometimes if your company, although some company guys have a little card that scans in, but we'll go if you're agency, okay? So they'll want your name, they'll date that you started, the date that you finished, any fuel that you've used, how many litres that you've put in at the end of your shift or the beginning of your shift, depending on how they run it. They'll want where you've been, times you got there, times you left. Some places will want your POA, some places will want any break that you've had, the times you took your break. Just trying to think now, anything else? Yes, some of them will issue you with a defect book per unit. Some places will have a defect book behind the counter, but they'll want a record of the defect sheet number. If you filled it out, that kind of stuff. That's kind of the generic stuff. You know, it's self-explanatory. It's on the paperwork. It's all laid out. Name, date, start mileage. You know, that kind of stuff. Defect number, all that. Now, when you get to locations, you could be signing your life away, or it might just be one signature and off you go. I've been to places before where you get 26 pallets, fine. You walk in, you sign the front sheet. The place I'm at the moment is like that. You sign the front sheet, print your name, they take a copy of it, the top copy. You get the bottom copy with all the paperwork for all the pallets, and that's it. I've been to other places, a place I went to yesterday, where you pick up 12 pallets, but say it's got, I don't know, 40 stores worth of stock on it, and you will sign 80 pieces of paper and then just take one piece of paper away with you. So it's completely varied. There is no real kind of uniformity to it. Scratch and dent sheets, that'll basically just be an outline of a HGV vehicle, and you put circles or lines, whatever they ask you to do. Some will be an S for a scratch, a D for a dent, that kind of thing. Some will just be circle the areas of damage or kind of do a little sketch of it. Whatever you feel like. I usually do a rough circles of where the damage are, that kind of thing, and then I'll write all old marks at the top. Reason being is if it's absolutely huzzing it down with rain, you don't want to go walking around a vehicle marking all the points of damage on a piece of paper. It won't work. So kind of have a visual look, and then okay, it's roughly there, and just write all old marks. That seems to work. Can't really think of anything else to do on the paperwork side of things, because like I said, there is no, you know, standard layout. There's no paperwork issued to you with DVSA written on the top, standard driver's paperwork. It's all whatever the company wants you to fill in, however they want you to fill it in. And that light is getting right in my eyes. I shouldn't keep trying to look at the camera. But excuse me, I can't see anything. But I always, as most of you know, this is a little yellow book now because the blue ones ran out, but I always keep these, and in these I just write the date, start time, at the top. I'm not going to show you because obviously it's generic to this place, and that probably won't focus anyway. But I'll write kind of the date, start time, leave, arrive, on dock, for example, if they need that. Some places do, some places don't. Leave, arrive, so on and so forth. And then along here, I would write POA, start, finish, the amount of time, and the driving time underneath. Always remember, if you're going to use POA, write the driving time down. Because if you go over 45 minutes, or you've had 15 minutes of break and you take over 30 minutes of POA, it's going to reset the driving time. It doesn't legally reset it. Okay, you've still got to take your break at 4.5 hours driving time. Okay, so I'll do POA, start, finish, obviously driving time, and then I'll put a little box around it, and then I'll do break, for example. I'll put that along there as well. And usually I'll write in the gap that you'll have between your leaves and all that kind of stuff, I'll write where I've been and total it all up at the bottom. But that's what I do, and then I just fill the paperwork out when I get back to the yard. But yeah, paperwork is paperwork. You're going to have it. The funniest thing is Tesco's. I know I shouldn't really say this because Tesco's hate being mentioned on YouTube, but I'm not saying anything nasty or detrimental. But Tesco's, you can go to the older sites that have been there for decades, and there used to be a security box, but of course there's no security guards there anymore. They've put it all through a little, what I like to refer to as a squawk box. You press a button and it rings and whatever. And you press it, you get through to somebody, and they ask you your reference number, that kind of stuff. And then they say, I'll go around to bay, whatever. Now, if you've never been to the site before, where the hell are you going? You know, and they're trying to describe it to you, but their office staff, they don't really go around it. They might have a map. Usually sites are easily laid out, but sometimes they're a bit intricate. So you go around, you park up, you take all your paperwork in, yeah? Hand your keys over, everyone's a winner. But the newer sites, like for example the Dagenham site, they don't need any paperwork. None. You get to the little box, you press the button, go on bay 70 whatever, and your reference number as, you know, on the system downloaded, you know, updated the delivery. So they don't need any paperwork, and you end up with a wodge of paperwork that nobody needs. So it is kind of odd because it's a paperless system, but the companies that supply the goods have paperwork. So they're just generating waste, if that makes sense. Because it's a paperless system that's transferred, but the company that's supplying them has paperwork per pallet. So it's really odd. I mean, Morrison's is a fun one because where at Tesco's you press the button and you'll get through to somebody on the desk, on the transport desk, or the goods in desk. At Morrison's you press the button and you get through to an office somewhere in the country, I don't know where, and the security guards are looking at an email sent through of the vehicle that's going to be turning up, the driver of the vehicle, all that kind of stuff, and your reference number. And they've never been to that site. So if you've never been to that site, where am I going? Now, fortunately, most of the sites I've been to for them have markables, like bread will be over there, chill will be over there, ambient will be over there, frozen that way. You kind of follow the markings. But again, it's, where's the goods in office? You know, like when the security guards used to be there, it's a case of, oh yeah, drive, it's between 89 and 90, mate. It's a little security steps up, go in there, lovely jubbly. Now it's just somebody on a box. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'll just go, yep, cheers, no, fine. And that's really it. It's like, drive around, where am I going? It's strange when you go to these sites. Because everything's obviously, they're trying to save money as much as possible. They don't want to have on-site security staff if they don't need them, which is fine, I understand it. But if you've never been to the site before, and there's 3 or 4 different buildings and it's all one way that or this, or, you know, roundabouts here and there, and some sites do have them. They have roundabouts in them. And you're like, well, where the hell am I going? And eventually you find a shunter and you know, stop the shunter and you ask them. They're usually good guys. Or girls. Not being sexist. They're usually good people. But it is amusing because you go to the older sites and they've got the full security hut. You know, everything that a security guard could ever want. Everything in there, the microwave, the fridge, everything set up. It's beautiful. Nobody in it. None. No one. And it's like, right, there's no map stuck anywhere. There's nothing. I've now got to just use the force to find out where I'm going. Especially on the older sites that they're updating, because there's nothing. Those sites were designed for the security guards to say, right mate, you're here, you need to go there. You cock that up, you're an idiot. Yeah? Now you just go there and it's like, I'm guessing it's that way. Because on the older sites especially, there might not be any road, you know, markings on the road anymore. They've all worn away style thing. It's like, I'll go that way. But yeah, I went to one site. What company was it? Can't remember what company it was now. It wasn't all that long ago. It was beginning of this week. Never been there before. And fortunately, there's a security guard. Bonus. And he says, yeah, you got to go around there, mate. It's all one way. And so I've done the delivery. I've sat there, you know, waiting until I've been offloaded and all that. And I've gone to leave. Well, it's all one way. So if I've gone in that way, it makes sense I'm going to be going out that way. So I turn that way. And I'm following it all the way around. And there's not really too many markings. It's an old site. And it's not a retail site. It's another haulier's site, basically. And I'm going round. And all of a sudden, it looks like a dead end. It looks like a complete dead end. And there's the workshop in front of you. You got all the bays along there, well, some of the bays, obviously not every bay, but some of the bays along there. Some trailers parked up over there, and a workshop. And it's like, now where do I go? You know, because I've been told it's one way. And you look at the edge, you know, the furthest edge of the workshop, away from the building, and it looks like, you know, where some workshops will have like a wash area. You'll drive in there and they'll wash all the dirt off before working on it or whatever, just so as they don't get covered in crap. And it looks like that, because you can see bins there, you can see everything there. And it's crazy paved as well, which makes it even more mind-screwy. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden the tyre guy goes, yeah mate, it's round there bruv, just go through it. And you'd never guess, you just wouldn't guess. There's no line markings, there's no arrows, there's no kind of one-way blue, white arrows on a blue background stuff, nothing. It just looks like where you're going round behind the shed, you know, like you're gonna go and wash it, or the MOT bay, or whatever. And it's like, ooh, it's really odd. Some places are really odd. But the thing is, once you've been there once, it's easy. And once you started doing paperwork for a couple of days at the site you're working at, you just know it. It's just, oh yeah, fill that in, done, there you go, whatever. But yeah, there you go. Paperwork and some blah, 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 blah. Anyway, cheers guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share about, do whatever it is you usually do. I'll see you in the next one. Whenever that is. See you later.